You guys remember this?
First of all, I want to apologize for this season. But now we have to make a choice. Or we stay stuck in the past, or we stick together and move forward. 6 months ago, I said to you, the storm is coming. Today, after this disaster season, I want to tell you, the good days are coming.
That was a powerful promise, a powerful speech, and well said by our manager, Ruben Amorim. I mean, when I was watching that, I got inspired. I was hopeful. I was ready to leave that season behind me so we can move on to a good summer transfer window and a good upcoming season. But as it stands today on July 12th, I'm not so impressed. With only one signing through the door, and don't get me wrong, Matheus Cunha is one hell of a signing, and I'm very excited to seeing him play. But with only one signing through the door, I'm not sure we're out of the storm. What's up, YouTube? Thank you for joining me once again. We got an interesting video today. For those of you who've been with me a long time, checking me out for the millionth time, I thank you. Thank you so much. Please click the like button and get that trend started. If you're new to the channel, sit back, relax. I hope you like what you see. And if you do, consider hitting the like button and consider subscribing so we could keep growing. Guys, I've got a lot to talk about. I'm going to be showing in-game footage today. I want to break some things down. I want to talk about what I think is still needed to finalize, to make this team better, to move us in the right direction. I'm not talking about to challenge for a title, because I know we're not going to be ready to challenge for a title, nor do we have the kind of money that would be needed to invest in the kind of players that we need to actually challenge for a title. But I just want us to really build a squad capable of becoming a top 6 team next season. So all I'm looking for is 6th place or better, and I'm actually going to be pretty happy. But right now, so far, I don't think so. And let's break it down. Let's talk about it all. Thanks again for joining me. Let's get right into it. Let's start with the 2 positives. Matheus Cunha is a huge positive. The man is a good player, the kind of player we don't have. Creative, brave, likes to drive forward with the ball, has trickery, can see a pass, and doesn't mind providing for teammates. And he pretty much has a great shot conversion rate because he's pretty good on the ball. He takes great shots. Matheus Cunha is going to be a big addition. Let's put that to the side. The second thing that I see as a positive is that this time around, Ruben Amorim is going to have the luxury of a full preseason, which he never had before with us. And that's going to result in a better team, a better squad, or a better play tactically. When you look at the games, hopefully you won't see confused players. These players are going to have more time to learn the tactical nuances of what he wants from them. They're going to understand which zones to attack, where to defend with or without the ball. But I'm pretty much done with the positives because let's be honest, there's only so much more quality you can squeeze out of this current squad. A lot of these players did underperform last season, and most of them are starting to look pretty fit when you see them in the videos and the training videos and stuff of that nature. And I understand that, and a lot of us are getting excited, and some people are all over YouTube or Twitter and saying, wow, look how fit they are. Look how fit they are. Great. That's fantastic. We definitely were lacking physicality and fitness last season, and hopefully this will make up for it. But when it comes to talent levels, some of these players just don't really have what it takes, I think, or just don't have the actual traits to work in a Ruben Amorim tactical system. Let me explain. And let me get to the first player I want to get to, and that is Rasmus Højlund. Rasmus Højlund, I think, has some wonderful traits. And I think he would work in a lot of squads and a lot of teams, but he does not. He just does not fit. His traits, his qualities do not fit what Ruben Amorim is looking for. Other than the fact that he's a channel runner, which is one of the things that Ruben Amorim is looking for. Someone with pace who can run the channels. But the other things he's looking for is someone who can bring down a long ball, bring it down, settle it, hold it, use his body effectively, use his physicality effectively, and bring others into play. That's something that Rasmus is awful at. But also, Rasmus only seems to understand one positional movement or understanding, which is running a channel. If it's not running a channel, if it's exposing a gap, or if it's checking back, he just looks a little clumsy. He's a little bit late. And what we're going to do today is we're actually going to look at some game footage, because I didn't want to make these statements or say these things without having some video to show to back up what I'm saying. Guys, I've done it all season long. Last season when I showed you guys things that we were doing good or doing bad, and sometimes we were talking about Rasmus. Now, I feel like with Cunha coming in, and hopefully with the Mbumo deal just around the corner, that we're going to take care of most of my offensive worries, if you will, except for the striker position, which I think is so vital for a Ruben Amorim team, because the striker is a big outlet. So are the inside 10s, but the striker is a huge outlet. Let me show you with video and then you'll understand. I've explained this before in the past, that with the modern day football, with a lot of teams pressing high, the long ball has become more prevalent again. It's starting to become a more important thing to win second balls and third balls. And it's not only us, and it's not just Ruben Amorim. You'll even see it with Manchester City these days, a team that is not known for the long ball, but you'll understand what I mean when I say that Pep Guardiola has also made it a thing where his teams, where he's, let's say, putting more weight or more value on long balls and second balls. So for Ruben Amorim, it is actually a very, very early option to have goalkeepers kick long balls out to the striker. But the way he designs his formation and his position for all the other players is that his striker is actually one-on-one with a defender. The way he's very clever in how he makes his teams get compact and run towards their own goal so that the striker can stay solo by himself with a defender. As we're seeing here, Højlund all by himself with a defender on his back. He's got a clear picture of where the ball is and how it's coming down. And you can see here he's even got position on his defender, and he does not do a good job of settling this ball, gaining control, or heading it back to one of his teammates. This is normal for Rasmus Højlund. He's not good at reading the ball flight even. Forget reading the play, which he's also not good at. And I'm going to show some examples of that. But he's really not also good at looking at a ball flying in the air and predicting where it's going to land and how it's going to bounce. These little things he just doesn't have the skill for, or the eye for, or the talent for. If anything, I think that he panics more often than not, looks at defenders way too many times instead of keeping his eye on the ball and trying to make a prediction as to where it's going to land, how hard it's going to bounce, how fast is it going, what he needs to do to settle it. Let's look at some more examples. I want to be fair. So here's an example of Højlund actually using his body correctly, settling the ball, getting his teammates involved. And look how easily this works out. As Ruben Amorim's tactical style is to basically set these kind of situations up where everybody starts to run into a certain hole or direction so that it opens up a space, sometimes in the zone 16 and 18 area or towards those zones, maybe not as deep as those zones. And when the time is right, the defender or one of the center mids will send the ball directly to the striker, who should be taking up that zone or that area, using his body to collect the ball, hold it, and with his first touch or his second touch, send it out wide, and then we develop from there. And you can see when he does it right, when he does it good, then we have a chance. And it opens up space on the other side of the pitch where somebody like a Bruno Fernandes in this situation can send the ball all the way down to Patrick Dorgu, and we're set up to try and penetrate or do something, create a chance from there. But this whole thing doesn't work if the striker can't use his body to get those 1 or 2 touches to get his teammates involved in running forward into the opponent's third. And unfortunately, more often than not, Rasmus just does not win those physical duels. In this example I'm about to show you right now, this aerial duel is just, the ball's been in the air for a while, and you can see he takes his eyes off the ball and he looks at the defender and he keeps his eyes on the defender, again, misjudging when the ball's going to finally land so he can look back at it, I think at least, because any normal player or any average player would be looking back at the ball. You check the defender, you see the defender is looking at the ball. The defender's eyes are on the ball. You need to turn around and look back at the ball, and you can see here clearly he keeps his eyes on the defender. The defender's not even looking at him, and it's Rasmus who gets hurt and falls down. This happened time and time again against Virgil van Dijk in the Liverpool game too. back in January or February. He did the same thing. It drove me. I made a whole video about it, about how he was on the ground more than 9 times, I think, in that game. It was 6 times in one half. So I think he was on the ground about 9 times, or maybe a little 1 or 2 more in that game. And it drove me nuts. And I'm like, man, get your eyes on. How are you? You're the one looking at the defender and you're losing the duel. The defender's looking at the ball and somehow still winning the duel. That has to do with comfort in that style of play. That has to do with bravery. I'm going to show you one more example that pretty much shows you exactly what it is I'm talking about. Because in this instance here, Rasmus actually has the positioning on the player. The ball is clearly coming to him. He should be the one to settle it, yet he still loses this ball and loses the possession of this ball. He's just not built to play this way. He's a big guy, strong guy who plays like a little guy. He wants to only run the channels. He wants the ball at feet while running the channels, and he wants to dribble against defenders. He doesn't like the physical part of the game. I'm convinced he doesn't like the physical part of the game because he's not good at it. He's really not good at it, and that's okay. I'm not being overly negative. I'm not trying to sit here and tell you that Rasmus is a horrible footballer. It's not what I'm saying, because he's actually pretty good at the things that he's good at. But it doesn't fit what Ruben Amorim wants out of his striker. It just doesn't fit. And I don't think it will. I don't know if he can change that about himself, because I watched him struggle for months. And again, anybody who thinks Rasmus is not a good striker, I'm sorry, but you don't know what you're talking about. Now, if you say Rasmus is not a good striker for Ruben Amorim tactic and what Ruben wants him to do, I'd agree with you 100%. He's very bad at what Ruben wants him to do. Other than the long ball and other than the coming short and using your body to shield the ball, the other setup that Ruben has in his tactics, the third way, and the way that I've talked about in prior videos, guys, if you're new to this channel, then you definitely need to show out and check out one of my older videos, especially this one. Check that video out from that thumbnail right there. And you'll get a better understanding of everything that I talk about that Ruben's trying to do. And this is all stuff from in that video. It's all examples of what he did in Sporting and how they used to create their chances and advance the ball forward and things of that nature. Go check that thumbnail out or that video out after this. And I'll also link that video to the very, very end of this video. So if you're here, you're new to the channel, just hang out till the end and then click on the thumbnail at the end of this video with the link to take you there. But what I want to get at is he has these setups. Ruben has these setups where when we get the ball in our possession, our center backs and our wing backs pass the ball around to each other until we create these opportunities where the 10s and the wing back all check back, dragging defenders with them, which opens up lanes to zone 16 or zone 18. In this example, it's zone 16 is wide open, but Rasmus was late to go on that run. If you watch my videos in the past, if you've seen my Sporting examples, Gyökeres takes off on that run before he even checks with the defender to make eye contact or anything like that. You got to go. As soon as Bruno checked back, Rasmus should have gone. As soon as he saw Bruno take the defender, Rasmus should have gone and trusted that Shaw was going to send this ball. By the time Shaw sent this ball, Rasmus was too late and the defender was there. It should have been the other way around. Rasmus should have been first to that gap to zone 16, and he should have got that ball pretty easily. And I want to talk about something else too in this video. I get comments all the time, and I just got one recently on my last video asking me, do I think that switching to the 3-4-3 hurt us, or Ruben's tactics are what's hurting us? Basically, it's the kind of comment that you get a gut feel. I don't know if this is what that individual was trying to imply, but I get the gut feeling it's the Ruben out comment. Do you know what I mean? Like the people who don't want to see the 3-4-3 or blame Ruben Amorim is why we finished 15th. And what I try to tell that person, which I hope you're watching this video, man, thank you for the comment. And I do appreciate the kind of conversation that brings up, man. This isn't me being disrespectful in any way to the people who think that, but I want you to understand something. The reason why people think the 3-4-3 is our downfall, which I don't believe, but is the reason why we finished 15th, or the reason why we are not going to succeed in the Premier League, is because they think the midfield gets overrun. The center of the midfield gets overrun. And what I want people to understand is stop thinking about that formation, those numbers, 3-4-3, as in like two that there's 2 center midfielders and they're all on their own on an island, and they're going to get overwhelmed, because the way it works is whenever we're out of possession, whenever a center back has the opportunity to step forward to help one of the midfielders, they're supposed to. And whenever we're in possession, the 10s are supposed to come back and make up the numbers. Guys, take a look at this example. This isn't just one example. This happens all the time, guys. So in this example here, what you're seeing is, because of the way the Amorim wants people to move and take positions, like you'll see Dorgu way out there on the wing. You'll see that Mazraoui's already gone. You'll see Ahmad is checking back. You'll see Bruno is there. We basically turned a 3-4-3 to 4-3-3. Right here, this is a 4-3-3 setup, okay? And because we got our wingbacks way out wide, and because we got our 10s checking back, that opens up a zone 18 pass to Rasmus, who again doesn't use his body correctly and settle the ball or get this ball. But if you were looking at that and you see the diagrams that I drew and the lines that I drew, we were in a 4-3-3 right there, and that was in possession. Out of possession, sometimes we're in a 5-3-1, sorry. We're in a 5-3-2 or a 5-4-1. It's not, don't think of the 3-4-3 as a 3-4, because that's not it. It's just the kind of personnel that he's starting. He's starting 3 center backs. And even when he does, like Mazraoui's not a center back, but he starts him as right-sided center back, right? So it's not even about like the personnel he's starting. It's just the initial positions. He wants one extra guy in the back, an extra center back, for additional safety, because he doesn't want to get countered on. And guess what we're weak at? And guess what was Erik ten Hag's downfall? We were horrible against the counterattack. So that's not a bad thing. And it's not, our midfield's not going to get overrun if our players know when to step up and help the midfield or check back and help the midfield. Either way, there are so many options. You have a 4-person midfield. There's a box in the middle. If you think about the 2 attacking midfielders and the 2 center mids, that's a box. That's a square in the midfield. They can help each other, and when not, there's an extra center back that can step forward and help. There's plenty of situations when you're watching a game, just watch it, and you'll see that, oh, we're in a 4-3-3 shape now, and it happens all the time. 4-2-3-1 happens all the time. There's all kinds of different shapes that we take up in a game, and that's kind of what I like about Ruben's system, that it's very, very interchangeable and fluid. We just need everybody to know their positions and to run it right. Now, I hope I made my case for the fact of why we need a striker in desperately, because without a striker doing these things that I pointed out and doing it at a somewhat high level, it doesn't have to be the best striker in the world, but it has to be someone who's better at the physical duels than Rasmus is. It's got to be somebody who can read a play a little bit earlier than Rasmus so that he can get to those zones quicker and gain possession of the ball better than Rasmus. And the kinds of things that, that Rasmus lacks, like his positioning in the box isn't exactly the greatest either. Even if we're not talking about these kind of situations that I brought up, just his positioning in the box for crosses and things like that is not the greatest. I can bring up examples where he should have been at the front post and he was nowhere near the front post when the cross came in. I've done this video in the past where I've shown you how many times he wasn't making the run to the front post when the system calls for a run to the front post in these certain examples. So hopefully we get that striker in too. If we get the Mbeumo and we get the striker, there's one more problem we got to solve. Now, it looks like we're going to have to solve it whether we have the money for it or not, because our goalkeeper just went down with a hamstring injury. But before the hamstring injury, I was already planning on stating in this video that I need that goalkeeper problem solved. Because too many times Onana makes the same mistake that he makes in this video, where he makes a save but leaves a rebound. And thankfully here, the player can't hit a goal from 3 yards away. I think it was Enzo. But still, that's a horrible save. And that happens way too many times with Onana, where he makes a save and he leaves the rebound right there at the front door for anyone to kick in. Look, I do hope Onana gets a speedy recovery, because I do want us to have 2 able goalkeepers. And I never wish injury on a player anyway, but I just wanted Onana to be our backup goalkeeper because it'd be one heck of a backup to have. And we need to bring somebody else in to challenge him for the number 1 spot. And who knows, maybe Onana will become our number 1 goalkeeper once he has a challenge there for him to work against, because there's a lot of times where you bring someone to challenge your starter and your starter gets better. Guys, getting Mbeumo in is going to make us a hell of a lot better offensively, so that needs to happen. That deal cannot not happen. Guys, I want you to listen to me here. And I'm not somebody who says too many negative things about Ineos, but I am starting to feel like it's time to really let him have it. I'm going to give him another week on this deal. And if they either A, don't close that deal by Monday or Tuesday, or B, don't walk away by Monday or Tuesday, then they're dumb. They are the dumb, or they're so broke and they're not willing to use the line of credit because, you know, they have principles now, but their principles only have anything to do with money. Their principles have nothing to do with raising the status of the football club and winning championships. Their principles only have to do with money. If we're delaying this because we're waiting for a sale for an extra $5 million to put down as a down payment instead of taking a loan for however many because I'm sure we're only short about $5 or $6 million as the first down payment, or maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe it all has to do with the long-term payments structure of this deal. But I tell you what, if it has anything to do with the totality of the deal, as in like what he's worth, and we're still here negotiating for that, we should have walked away a long time ago because we don't have that much time to waste. So either walk away or pull the trigger. Stop dilly-dallying. Anyways, Ineos needs to get Mbeumo done. And I hope it is Mbeumo. I don't want them to walk away. I want Mbeumo, but not if it's never going to happen. If it's never going to happen, walk away now. I hope it is Mbeumo because Mbeumo's pressure regain stat, Mbeumo's work rate stats are things I've shown before in videos. If you're new to the channel, go find the video from last month. I believe Mbeumo was on the thumbnail where I showed his stats and we talk about what he does so well and how he could help our team. And I really believe that he would take us to the next level when it comes to offensive output. But without a striker, sometimes we're not going to even be able to get out of our half. And some people think that we are not advancing the ball forward because our center mids are lacking, or our center backs are lacking, or our wing backs are lacking. Well, 50% of the time, or just around maybe 40% of the time, if you watch Sporting play, their outlet pass was to Gyökeres. And Gyökeres would hold it up for a touch or two, get everybody else involved, and they would turn and go. Or Gyökeres would be running to zone 16 and 18, and they would be out of their own half. If you watch the Man City game against the tougher teams like Man City in the Champions League, it was more than 40% of the time their outlet was through Gyökeres. And then the other 50% or 40% of the time, it was with 1-2 plays with the wingbacks and the attacking 10s. Okay? Those are the kind of things that he wants. Things I've talked about in past videos. We need that forward. We need that striker who's going to come in and do the job for us and do the dirty work. And also, he's got to have pace. So it can't just be a big guy who can do dirty work. He's got to have pace because he's got to win the foot race to those corner zones. Guys, thank you so much for joining me once again. If you are new to the channel, the link is about to pop up right there somewhere. Click on it. Go watch that video I was telling you about. For all the guys who've been with me, I'm going to be live. We're going to do the Leeds game live watch along on Saturday. It'll be like 6 a.m. my time, but I will be doing a watch along. Show up. Let's watch it together. Let's critique it together. Let's get upset together, or let's get happy together, depending on what's happening on the pitch. Thank you again. Thank you so much. Drop a like if you haven't. I will see you soon. Probably another video in about 3 or 4 days. Probably 3 days, guys. I'm going to try to make one earlier. Thanks, guys. Bye.